Truth wears no mask, seeks neither place nor applause, bows to no human shrine. She only asks a hearing. A very pleasant good day to you wherever you may be. Welcome to the University of Common Sense. My name is Tim Morrow, and today we're talking about dialysis and dialysis treatment. It is a big subject. It's huge, and I talk to a lot of people on the dialysis machine, and the only ones that I talk to are miserable. So I really need to put this out there so people can understand, first of all, why are you there? How did you get there? What was it that made you be today on that dialysis machine? Because the treatments is far worse than any problem that you have with the kidneys, and everybody will tell you that. Not only that, you're fearful to get on that machine, but you're 10 times more fearful to get off of it. So I really want to address my part, what I know. And I'm an American citizen. I have a right to a choice. But what I say to you has to make sense to you, because I'm coming to you from the University of Common Sense. I can't use $40 words that you don't understand. So let me give you what I know about. And what I know, I learned from listening to my people that are on the dialysis machine. I didn't take white rats into a laboratory and kill them. I learned from listening to every client. In fact, what I know in these 36 years, I've learned from my clients what they have to say. People don't lie to you about their illness. They tell you exactly what's going on. And when you listen, believe me, you will learn. I mean, I learn from my clients. So here's what you got to do. And this is what I've seen in dealing with dialysis. And my first encounter with dialysis was these old black men up in the first state, Delaware. They were on, these men were in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. And they told me the horror stories of the nurses that put them on the machine, what they say to them, why they slap their face, why they, all kinds of stuff that they do to these people, and the way they talk to them. They were dogged until you get in there and you take your treatment and stuff like that. So that was my first real encounter with it. But I've since found out a lot more. So the first thing is 99% of the people on the dialysis machine were on drugs. They were on medication of some kind. Number one is that what started all our problem is the food, our diet. White rice, white sugar, pastas, pizzas, meat, spaghetti, macaroni, cheese is not food. That used to be food, and they turned it into junk, and they made it taste good. And what happens is it makes us sick. And what do we do when we get sick? Go to the doctor. And what does the doctor do? The doctor puts you on drugs. And when you get on the drugs, the body starts holding water for a reason. It's never for no reason. Cause and effect. Drugs, number one, constipates us. That's the number one thing that it does, is constipates us. And all of our channels of elimination, the colon, lungs, kidney, skin, and for the female, the vaginal tract, they become blocked, especially when you become constipated. When you become constipated, the body has to go into another routine. You're not eliminating what you're eating, and when you're taking the drugs, you're putting poison on top of that. The body then starts looking for something. Since you won't eliminate, it's got to look for some other way to get rid of this waste. But it can't get rid of it. So what it does, it sends water out to dilute the poison. That's the body acting on your behalf. And it's acting because of what we've done. Yeah, we did it out of ignorance, but it doesn't matter. Because death met by ignorance is just as final as if met by knowledge. So you need to understand the body just a little bit. When the body is sending water out, it's doing it for a reason. There's poison it can't get rid of, so it sends the water out to dilute the poison. What happened was, this started happening across the country. I'm talking about millions and millions of people realizing that they're filling up with water. And medicine said, what can we do about that? That was the invention of the dialysis machine. Somebody saw a way out, a way to make big money, and we became victims of it only because our body was doing what it is supposed to do. Our body takes the manure that we do in our life and turns it into fertilizer for the next experience. Why? Because the body starts taking care of itself. But since we don't understand the body, we go to the doctor who understands it less. And he puts you on even more drugs. There are people out there on 17 drugs and taking the dialysis treatment. Number one is you don't know what's in that. You don't know. They hide it from what's in it, but it's all chemical. And that's been put in the body. The body doesn't have any idea as to what to do with it, but it's got to respond. So it responds by holding water. Now you can be convinced that your kidneys aren't working, but they know better than to tell you that your kidneys aren't working. Why? Because you're still urinating. So that's not what they say. They say, yes, your kidneys are working, but they're not filtering the blood like they should. So that's what the dialysis machine is. And that's what they're using. They're using that fact that it is not clearing not purifying the blood. So the dialysis machine then does that. Well, let me tell you something. God gave us 2 dialysis machines. They're called kidneys. One kidney, only 4 inches and 4 ounces. It takes 18 quarts of water and turns it into about a half pint, and it does that almost every hour. That's about how much we urinate. At the same time, it is filtering your blood for the second time. One kidney, 4 inches and 4 ounces, has 75 miles of tubing in it. 75 miles of tubing in it. And to tell me you're going to take a machine and do what my one kidney does for me is absolutely delusions of grandeur. And for the person who's on that machine, it still does the same thing. It's delusions of grandeur. But think about this. The minute you get on the dialysis machine, guess what they do? They restrict your intake of water. Another gift from God that the doctor has now overtaken. And he's saying, I know more than God knows. No, he doesn't. But they're justifying the machine. They're not justifying you. They're justifying the machine because that machine doesn't do anything but keep you sick. That's the reason why when you come off of that machine, you are worn out. You've done 2 days' work, and everybody says the same thing. So where do you start, and what is your part in taking care of your health? Number one is know a little bit about your body and what the body does for you. Believe me, you do not have to be a college graduate to know your body. And because the college graduate is the doctor that you go to see, and the first thing he says to you is, we don't know what caused it. There's no cure for it. You're going to have to learn to live with it. That'll be $500. So the guy that does have the education doesn't know what causes it. So what's your obligation to you? Number one is, these are things that you can do. Number one is change your diet. You can't digest a cow's milk. The molecular structure of it is far too big, and so it causes the very problem of swelling because it can't handle that molecular structure. And anything that you eat from that cow does the same thing to you. Whether you call it yogurt, cheese, whatever you call it, it came from the cow. Guess what else you do? You start to suffer with the same thing that the cow suffers with, whatever it is that the cow suffers with. And now all this is beginning to show up in the individual. The individual, not knowing anything about themselves, have to do what the doctor says. And whether he knows it or not, we're being betrayed by the very people we trust the most. Because if you tell them about, if you ask them about the diet, they tell you, oh, the diet's got nothing to do with it. But deep inside, you know that it does. So these are changes that you can make. Change your diet. Stop eating a cow. Stop drinking from the cow. I mean, these are things that really create a problem, especially true of cheese. Pizza parlors, all the pizza parlors, they have added to it, and it's added to children because that now they're having difficulty breathing. Anybody who tries to get off that dialysis machine, the number one thing that happens to them is that they start suffering with the inability to breathe correctly. And when you start suffering with that, and you think that that machine will cause you to breathe correctly, you're always going to be on that machine. But remember, what their number one product is in the medical field is fear. You're on the machine out of fear. You're afraid to get on it, and you're 10 times more afraid to get off of it. And something else. You have to overcome the fear, or you're always going to be there. One of the things that the people are asking me is, well, do you know anybody who's gotten off of the machine and lived a nice life? Well, when you were 60 when you went on that machine, and you've been on that machine 1 year, and you throw away the 60 years that your body has taken care of you and only concentrate on the 1 year that the doctor says it isn't, all you're going to be is fearful. You're going to be fearful to get off that machine. You want everybody. If I showed you 10 people who got off that machine, you'd want to see the 11th one. But you don't want to be that one. You've got to act. Let me tell you what courage is: action in spite of fear. If you want to get off that machine, nobody else can get off that machine for you. You're it. I don't advocate getting off of that machine or getting on that machine. But if you're going to be on it, if you choose to be on it or you choose not to be on it, I'm saying to you, there's a healthy way that you can take care of your own health. You start doing something for you. The thing that's happened to America is we've been taken out of our own health. We're too stupid. We're too stupid to take care of ourselves. According to the politician, we're too stupid. So they hand it over to the drug companies. And we are the sufferers. Start taking back, learning that your body is your friend. Every 90 days you have new blood. Every 11 months you have new organ. Every 2 years you have new bone. Did that sound like somebody trying to kill you? That really sounds like somebody trying to make sure that not only you're alive, but that you are being rebuilt every minute of every day. That is what's happened to you. But if you choose to do what you're doing and leaving your health over to somebody else, you will never get off that machine, and you'll never be successful as long as you stay on it. So it's a catch-22 situation. But you must learn something about your body. The drugs break down kidneys, lungs, spleen, heart. They break down everything. And at least do this. Look at the side effect of the drug you're taking. That makes you responsible right there. You can say to the doctor, well, this says it'll break down your kidneys. And see what he has to say. But the bottom line to this is, you're the sufferer. You're the person on that machine. You are the authority, not the doctor. The doctor that's not on that machine don't know nothing about it. You are. You are the one who can tell people what happens to you. And that's what I listen to. My thing, when I work with dialysis patients, is this. Is the day that you went for a treatment and they said to you, don't come back here no more. Nobody's going to pay for your being on this machine. What would you do that day? And that's what I prepare you for. I prepare you for that day to happen, whether you do it or whether they say, don't come back here no more. You understand? I'm preparing you for that day. If you're going to be on that machine, you choose to be on that machine, at least be on it. And as healthy as you can be. And if you're going to get off of it, you surely want to be as healthy as you can be. That's why the herbs come in. There are herbs that build your kidneys, your heart, your spleen, your lung. It repairs everything. You need to know about that. That's what phone consultations are. That's the reason why I do phone consultations with people and let them know what they can do themselves. Let me tell you something. I can buy stock in your illness on the New York Stock Exchange. That's how money-making it is. They don't want you off that machine. They want you on that machine. That's the reason why some of the drugs you're taking breaks down the kidneys. And so does the machine. It breaks down the kidneys also. That's the reason why you got to learn to do something for yourself. And not just kidney, not just dialysis. They remove from us our right to be well. In the state of California, you can't refuse your child to have a shot that you have no belief in, no trust in. You have to give them the shot. So they're taking away our rights. And when I listen to the people on the dialysis machine, when they talk to me, they're talking to me about what the person that's putting them on the machine says. They keep you fearful. If you miss one treatment on this machine, you could die. But what happened? The reason I'm telling you about the day will come when they say, don't come back here no more, is because I had a lady to call me from the dialysis center. And this is what she said to me. She said, I just came from my treatment and they told me, don't come back here no more because nobody is paying for your insurance company is no longer paying for you to be on the dialysis machine. What would you do that day? And you're already fearful enough to realize that just one treatment, missing one treatment could kill you. And they're telling you now, you ain't going to have no more treatments ever. What would you do that day? And that's what you do today. That's what you can do today to prepare for that day when they say, don't come back here no more. You understand? You can do something. Why? Because there's herbs that build every part of the body. Every organ of the body is new every 11 months. What do you want to do about it? You have to understand something about yourself. Getting on the machine, getting off the machine. People are fearful to get on it. They know there's something wrong with that. Your gut tells you there's something wrong with that. But number one to me is it slaps God's face. It says, my Creator can't give me a set of kidneys that lasts me a lifetime, and He turns me over to a man who'll do anything for me. That's the number one thing it does. Slaps God's face. And number two is, it slaps God's face a second time. When the doctor tells you, now, you're going to have to restrict your intake of water. Another gift from your Creator. And the doctor knows more than your Creator. Maybe He should have created us. Minus our kidneys, of course. They wouldn't have to break down. The bottom line to this is learn something about yourself. Learn how to take care of yourself. That's what I'm doing. That's what I had to do because I had prostate cancer and they couldn't help me. They worsened the condition. I had to fire all my expert doctors to get well. But that was 36 years ago. I've never darkened their door one time in that time. Learn a little bit about how to take care of yourself. Not only is it easy, it's fun. It's fun. I'm 82 years old now. I still roller skate 3 miles a day. I still play tennis almost every day. Like a wild man. I love getting out there chasing that ball down. I roller skate, I ice skate, and I start my day at 5 o'clock in the morning at the YMCA. What have I got you don't have? Nothing. But I chose to take over my health. And that even if I die, I would die under my condition, not somebody else's. That machine is dangerous. Very dangerous. You know that. I don't have to tell you that. It's dangerous. When they tell you that you need to get on that machine, you need to start to get inside of yourself and see what kind of machine. If that machine was that important, surely God would have left it knowing that our kidneys were going to fail. But He didn't. So it's up to you to learn how to take care of yourself. But the number one thing you have to get rid of is fear. Let me tell you real quick this story. It's here. You have to change your mind. Let me tell you a quick story about a guy named Nick. Nick was a big guy. Physically, he was a big guy. He worked in the train yards, loading and unloading trains. Nick was a good employee, got along good with other employees, dependable on time. Nick had one problem. He's always worried. What's going to happen to my wife? What's going to happen to my house? What's going to happen to my car? What's going to happen to my whatever? Just give him something to worry about. One day they gave all the employees off an hour early so they could go home and prepare for a party they were given for one of the foremen. Well, Nick was excused also, but somehow Nick found himself locked in a refrigerated boxcar. Nick knew he could not last the night in a refrigerated boxcar where the temperature gets down to well below zero. Nick beat on the doors until he was bloody, screamed until he had no voice, but nobody heard. Everybody was at the party having fun. Somewhere during the night, Nick found a piece of cardboard on the floor, and he had a pen in his pocket. He wrote on the cardboard, "Getting colder. If someone doesn't find me soon, these may be my last words," he wrote. And sure enough, that's what they were, his last words. The next morning when they opened up that boxcar, Nick lay slumped over in the corner dead. Furthermore, the autopsy said Nick froze to death. The enigma to the story was that the boxcar that Nick was in that night was in for repairs on the refrigeration unit that did not work. And the prevailing temperature in that boxcar that night was 61 degrees. Nick froze to death in a slightly less than room temperature boxcar simply because he knew he was in a refrigerated boxcar. He just didn't know that the unit didn't work. Anywhere in the night, Nick could have said, "I don't care how cold it is in here, I'm going to make it through this night." He'd have found out he needed to take his jacket off. It was 61 degrees in there. Nick froze right here. That's where you are. You're Nick in the boxcar. You're in that machine, you're Nick in the boxcar. You're trapped inside of yourself, and you can't get out. That's the reason we're here at the University of Common Sense. Our motto is, growing old does not make us sick. It's growing sick that makes us old. For the University of Common Sense, I'm Tim Morrow. And you'll see us next time.